Hi, today I am going to make a swipe with a hammer. Now I just did one, made a video. The battery died, but it will be posted in 2 parts on YouTube. But it turned out so cool that I wanted to make another one with slightly different colors for the hammer. So I'm going to do the swipe with black, white, and then I mixed up a gray. And for the black, it's just this acrylic value series, just some cheap black paint. And then the Liquitex Basics for the other colors. And I've mixed up all of them except for this. I will show you how I mix this. I'm not going to mix up a whole lot, which is good because it's almost gone. It is definitely, oh, and I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see it? It's all over my knee. And that was hopefully not the last paint that was in there. So yeah, hopefully there is more in here. Well, at least I can give myself a laugh. Oh crap, that might be. Well, you know what? All I need is a tiny bit because I'm just gonna do a drop, which is good because I think more than that ended up on my leg. And that's what she said. I did not really say that. I should probably put a warning on my YouTube channel that I'm completely inappropriate half the time. But you know, it is what it is. So this one takes, I think this color takes a lot more stirring. Some are just so much easier to mix than others. So I'm going to add some water to that. And you can tell I'm not measuring. I just add some floetrol, a little bit enough, and then water. And this I may have gotten a little too thin. Let's see. But for the hammer, it doesn't really matter because I'm not using it to coat anything. It doesn't have to hold up as much. I'm just using it mainly kind of for that pop of color. So this is thinner than I would use if I was just doing a straight up acrylic pour. But for the hammer technique, it is going to work just fine. So I'm not even going to worry about it. Some silicone, the WD-40, and my white paint. Be careful because I took the lid off. Dutch Boy mixed again with floetrol and water. There's no silicone in the white. And I am going to go ahead and start layering my colors for the swipe. This is just a regular level 2 Michaels 12 by 12 canvas. I have tape on the back. It keeps it somewhat clean, but a little bit of paint on the back just shows that it wasn't made in a factory. So I like that. So I'm going to put white at the top and the bottom. And the last one I did, I loved how it looked. The battery died. Went upstairs, got a new battery, came back down, was upstairs for maybe 5-10 minutes. And when I came back down, the painting had changed a lot. And with a hammer, usually it doesn't change. And it occurred to me that when I do my regular hammer pour, I'm tilting and tilting and tilting that white paint to almost a nothing level. And with this, I had not. So I'm going to try and get it a little thinner. So I have something in mind. I'm not really sure. All I know is that I'm just not going to put it on as thick. It still ended up looking cool, but you couldn't tell that it was a hammer technique. It looked neat, but you couldn't tell specifically what it was. But I did like it. And I had a shop that I had some artwork at, and they told me, and I don't usually use black, reds, or whites. Well, that's a lie. I use white all the time. But red, black, and white. And she said that red and black paintings sell the most. I have absolutely no idea if that is true or not, or if maybe this woman just really liked black and red. But I've got an upcoming, I'm a featured artist at a store coming up, and it's a First Friday event, and so I'll be there on Friday with my art, and then it's great. She's gonna let me keep my pieces there throughout all of August, which is awesome because it's great exposure. She's taking 10%, which is really small, so I'm super excited about that. So I'm going to leave some blank canvas space and for my swipe, and I'm actually using the same card I used for the other one. And this is actually one of those cards from Menards because we need a new vanity, so, or Lowe's or somewhere. So these are those cards for the vanities that we were looking at. So, you know, may not be getting that vanity, but the card's working well. So you can tell right here I scraped too much. And if you've also watched my videos, stuff like that doesn't really, yeah, it's art. You know, it's things like that. So you see your canvas, it's art. It doesn't matter. I mean, well, I mean, not art doesn't matter, but there are no, I don't believe that there are mistakes in art. You may have things you don't like. You may have pieces that don't go the way that you intended them to go. But when that happens to me, I'll turn the piece in a totally other direction. I am a mixed media artist as well, so I've got one of my hammer pieces, I hammered right through the canvas. And so I am going to turn that into a mixed media piece. I don't have it quite worked out in my head. It's going to have something to do with self-acceptance. And because the canvas was beautiful. I had done, the painting was really pretty before I smashed right through it. So that piece is going to have something to do with you're still beautiful even if you're quote broken. See, and I just did that again. But so my point I guess is, again, there's not really mistakes in art. You can repurpose pieces, you can change them, and something that you may not like, somebody else may think is the most beautiful piece on earth. So I think that's why I like creating so much, is that anything can be art. I like mixed media painting. I really like just gluing. I like gluing stuff together. So I like mixed media. I love using all the different types of paints and pastels and chalks and There's these things called gelatos. Faber-Castell makes, they're almost like pastels, but they're not, and they're called gelatos, and they're really fun to work with. They're really messy. The way I use them, they're messy, but I've gotten so off the topic of acrylic painting. So let's get back to the topic at hand. And I'm going to spray a little bit more silicone in this. Sorry for that little tangent there. I guess it's still art related, so it's not like I, started talking about French fries. Although some of you from the acrylic pouring page did ask me if I was going to discuss making of ice cream, because I did this street fair yesterday, and it turned out not the best venue for art, but had I been selling shaved ice and or ice cream, I could have retired by now. So, but I handed out lots of cards, and it was fun. There was a parade. It was great people watching. Saw some old friends I haven't seen in a while. So that part was fun. Ate a fantastic falafel from a food truck. And food always makes me happy. So I may not have sold what I desired to sell, but I still had a good time, and I used my new displays, which worked wonderfully. And so I figure I learned a lot yesterday. I learned what a good setup it was. I had borrowed a tent from a friend, so that was nice figuring out how that worked. And I was seated next to some really interesting people with some interesting art, so that was always fun. And now I'm going to move you back so that I don't hit you with the hammer. Alright, so I'm going to move you back here. Oops, lost the painting. There we go. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to kind of fill up the screen. Sorry about jostling you around so much. Okay. Alright, we're good. We're good. It's all good. It's wonderful. As it is, I think this is super cool right now. I love these colors against the black and white. I'm not going to stop right now, but I really like this. So, got my hammer. I do enjoy, I like using the mallet, the rubber mallet, but the reason I'm not doing the rubber mallet right now is because the mallet makes a huge, huge mess, whereas the hammer is a much more controlled mess. And I've got some paintings drying around the room, and I don't feel like making a Dexter's Kill Room right now with my plastic wrap, so we're sticking with the hammer. So I brace it on one side, and I hit. Hit it just a couple more times. Get that good flow going. Stop hammering for a minute and see what I got going on. I really lost a lot of color here. So what I'm going to do is make another, I'm going to start with white. And I'm going to do it again. Get some more color in there. Because I think the color got all swallowed up. Do this area again. Ooh, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. And And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Whoops. Let's start with the white. Do this. Well, I got me. I'm liking it. That one. Whew. I'm trying to decide if I should hit. You know, I don't like all that white that just happened. See, this is sometimes how I, end up. I'm just gonna overdo this one. Hopefully, I don't end up overdoing it. But I don't like that white. So, there we go. Much better. Got that white gone. So I've got to fill in. There's the divots where the hammerhead was, and I'm going to fill that in with black paint. Too much black. And add a little gray to that. There we go. A little bit of white. Basically, I'm just dipping my fingers in the. And I'm actually going to take this spot right here. Fill that. It sounds weird. I make a little space at the end of my glove. And now makes it easier to fling the paint. Oops. I think I'll do a yellow one over here. That's quite a bit of yellow I just did. Means if I did yellow there, then I should do turquoise here. Now there is currently a lot of paint on this canvas, I can feel. So it may have the same issue I had with the other one, where it's going to spread a lot when it dries. And even if it does, though, I like it. So let's torch. Ooh, that's cool. You see the pink that just popped up through the white? This is where my finger was, so. This, there we go, too perfect of an edge. So I'm going to flip this.